Ethan slept peacefully, his cheeks warm beneath layered blankets. Sarah didn't want to wake him. Then she heard it, slow footsteps crunching on ice outside. Her heart tightened. She froze, gripping the flashlight without turning it on. The steps moved past the rusted stairwell toward the service door, the one that never latched properly. A soft rattle followed. Someone was trying the handle. Sarah stepped between Ethan's room and the door, every instinct focused on protecting her child. She didn't scream or call for help. Asking again felt like defeat, and she had promised herself she wouldn't always need saving. Suddenly, bright white light flooded the alley. The security light snapped on, activated remotely by the system Daniel had installed weeks earlier. A hooded figure flinched, backed away, and vanished into the darkness. Then a familiar voice cut through the fear. "I'm here. You're not alone." Sarah rushed to the window. Daniel stood outside with a flashlight and his phone, calm and steady. She opened the door without a word. He didn't ask questions, only gestured toward his house nearby. "Come on," he said. At Daniel's home, warmth surrounded them. Soft light, heated floors, the scent of tea. Sarah sat wrapped in a blanket, trembling from fading fear and deep relief. Daniel said little, simply stayed close. Later, the police came and left with no answers, only warnings. As Ethan slept at Daniel's feet, a small voice murmured, "I'm not scared when you're near." Tears filled Sarah's eyes. She finally whispered, "I thought I could do this alone." Daniel replied gently, "You shouldn't have to." In that moment, Sarah understood. Leaning on someone wasn't weakness, it was survival. ChatGPT can make mistakes. Check important info. Daniel tried his best to cook breakfast, Googling recipes, burning toast more often than not, then smiling sheepishly when Ethan laughed and called the eggs weird and wobbly. Sarah noticed the quiet details. The fridge stocked with Ethan's favorite yogurt, a new jar of honey appearing after she mentioned missing it, and every morning, without fail, a small plate at her place with 2 perfectly toasted slices of bread, one buttered, one with jam. No explanation, just there. One afternoon, she found Ethan on the living room rug, surrounded by tiny paper robots. Daniel sat beside him, sleeves rolled up, folding arms and gluing eyes while Ethan giggled, unaware that Daniel's hands were covered in glitter. Sarah lingered in the doorway, watching longer than she meant to. It was always the small things. Warm slippers before bed, an extra toothbrush set out without comment, Daniel waiting until she sat before pouring his own coffee. Care that never asked to be seen. One evening at dusk, with Ethan asleep after a day in the snow, Daniel and Sarah stepped into the quiet backyard. After a long pause, he spoke softly. "I didn't just want to fix your heater. I want to build a home with you in it." Sarah turned toward him, breath clouding in the cold. Before she could answer, Ethan stirred and asked sleepily, "Are we staying here forever?" The question settled between them. Sarah looked at her son, then at the man beside her, the one who showed up again and again. She nodded and whispered, "Yes." Daniel leaned close, resting his forehead against hers, and kissed her temple. There were no grand moments, only a steady warmth. This time, she wasn't stepping into safety. She was stepping into love. ChatGPT can make mistakes. Check important info. After picking Ethan up from preschool, Sarah noticed a folded document on the counter. Her name was on it. So was Ethan's. It was the deed to her apartment. Daniel had bought the unit, renovated it, and transferred ownership to her and her son. When she confronted him, stunned, he only said, "It's not charity. It's home. You deserve something no one can take from you." Sarah whispered thank you, her voice shaking. Daniel just smiled and kissed her head as if it were nothing at all. For Ethan, the change came naturally. One morning, he casually called Daniel Daddy Dan while asking him to draw a spaceship. Sarah nearly choked on her tea. Daniel hesitated for a moment, then smiled and said, "Only if you help with the stars." That night, watching them asleep on the couch with a sketch pad between them, Sarah realized love had quietly settled in. With stability came new beginnings. Sarah enrolled in evening interior design classes, a dream she'd long buried. Daniel supported her without hesitation, watching Ethan, driving her to class, slipping notes into her books that read, "Design the world you deserve." On weekends, he learned to bake blueberry muffins, which Ethan proudly declared better than store-bought because Daddy Dan didn't give up. When Daniel appeared at a major conference, he didn't arrive alone. Sarah stood beside him, Ethan holding her hand, as cameras flashed. The attention faded for her. What mattered was Daniel's hand finding hers and Ethan whispering, "You're famous now, Daddy Dan." Daniel smiled. "Only to you. ChatGPT can make mistakes. Check important info." "I didn't change anything," Daniel said softly. "I just opened the door." In that moment, Sarah finally believed him. Family didn't always arrive with plans or promises. Sometimes it came quietly, knocking during a snowstorm, and stayed. The first snow of the season fell gently, just as it had the year before, but this time it brought no fear. Inside the warm home, the scent of cinnamon and vanilla lingered as Sarah placed freshly baked cookies on a cooling rack, humming softly. Peace had found her, in a way she never thought possible. The fireplace crackled, and Ethan ran through the living room in fuzzy socks, laughing loudly, no longer the fragile child she once held through the cold. "Daddy, the door is broken again," Ethan called out. Daniel laughed, stood, and examined the latch, which rattled lightly in the wind. Scooping Ethan into his arms, he kissed his temple and said with a grin, "Then we'll fix it together." Sarah watched from the doorway, her heart full, as they studied the door like two serious engineers. They opened it together. Snow drifted down beneath the porch light, cold stopping at the threshold. Inside, it was warm. It was home. Daniel reached out his hand to Sarah. She joined them, wrapping her arms around both. Three lives that had once known loneliness now stood together where everything had begun. No fear left, no storm they couldn't face. "I love our door," Ethan whispered. Daniel smiled. "Me too." Behind them, the door remained open, glowing softly in the night. Once opened in desperation, now forever open to love. ChatGPT can make mistakes. Check Imp.